Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're all good and well. So in tonight's review, I'm tackling the fifth studio album from the Swedish metal band Ghost and their latest release, Impera, which came out today on Loma Vista Records. And the album is 12 tracks and 46 minutes in length. Now, I think if you really enjoyed Prequel, you'll probably like this latest release from Ghost, Impera, which, whilst I thought it still has signs of the old school Ghost, there's even a very heavy track on here called 20s, which is worth checking out if you are more into the old school, creepier, doomier, maybe heavier Ghost. But then you sort of still have a lot of the kind of tongue-in-cheek style stuff on here too, and some more of the sort of 80s power, 80s pop rock songs that were present on Prequel. And you still get quite a lot of that on Impera, which, I mean, personally, I don't mind that. I quite enjoy that stuff, even as, a guilty pleasure from time to time. And the songs are pretty good, and the songwriting still is fairly strong throughout the most part of this album. One or two shorter tracks that felt a little on the filler side of the album, but on the whole, it feels like it's another pretty solid release by Ghost. But if you're looking for Meliora or something like that, or Opus Eponymous, I would say you might be a tad disappointed by this album if you're looking for that doomier, creepier style of Ghost, which we've had in previous years. So yeah, this is an album that also makes me think quite a bit of in style, not necessarily on the vocals front, but in style of Down to Earth by Rainbow. I mean, I got a lot of the sort of feel of that kind of an album on this album, but obviously with all the Ghost elements and some of the heavier stuff thrown in as well. So let's go into some of the tracks. I really liked Kaiserian, one of the early tracks on the album. Felt a little bit power metal to begin with. Really good up-tempo motivational stuff from Ghost that I think demonstrates that Ghost can maneuver from different styles, so easily and still pull them off, which is one of the strengths of this band, that they have a great versatility and they're not a band you're going to be able to pigeonhole easily. They're always going to do stuff which is going to surprise you. One of the qualities I like about Ghost is that you don't know what you're going to get necessarily track to track. And, being somebody that likes surprises, I don't mind that. Call Me Little Sunshine was one of the singles, not necessarily one of the more kind of ear-catching songs on the album for me, although I did really like the pre-chorus to that song. It's not necessarily a song I'd rush to go back to in here. We got Watcher in the Sky, a very good song, although just got a touch repetitive towards the end of singing the kind of chorus over and over again as it was kind of fading out gradually. Hunter's Moon had a great guitar riff and really solid keyboard work as well, I thought, on that track. That was probably one of my, more preferred tracks on this album. Dominion was kind of, one of the examples of tracks, with a bit more of an instrumental kind of filler type track with interesting kind of church organ use on this song. But you had some really sort of towards the end of the album, particularly some big power ballad type tracks like you maybe would hear in the 1980s. And the track Darkness at the Heart of My Love almost felt like a bit of a Bryan Adams kind of track. I was listening to it thinking, this is interesting. This reminds me a bit of Heaven by Bryan Adams. And I realised that, making comparisons sometimes isn't always the best way to go with songs like this, but it did remind me quite a bit of, Heaven by Bryan Adams, I have to say, which I wouldn't necessarily expect to hear, but again, it just re-emphasises the point that Ghost, they're just full of surprises with what they kind of bring out. But some great kind of really good melodic guitar solos in there as well, something I always enjoy. However guilty pleasure the sound of the song is, if it's got a good guitar solo, I'm sold pretty much. Driftwood was okay, but that's where I sort of also felt that the album wasn't necessarily entertaining any kind of new ideas here. It felt like this was already kind of ground that had already been trodden on a little bit. But I think it was the last track, Respite on the Spitalfields, was really great, actually. I love that track. Even had a sort of, the progression you get in Whitesnake's Still of the Night. There was a little bit of that in the middle of the track, I noticed, with some of the progressions. But that was a really good finish to the album. And doing a ballad that is nicely that's a really good one right at the end of the album, left me with a kind of a positive impression to finish the album on. So overall, I felt like it had been there'd been a few ups and downs for me personally on the album, and but the songs I liked, I really did enjoy. So I'm in one of those kind of slightly mixed feelings on this album, but I do think it will be an album you'll really like if you enjoyed Prequel. So I would say if you like Prequel, this is an album you should definitely visit because it's still a little in that style, but great fun, lots of interesting kind of that sort of what often feels like a tongue-in-cheek style that Ghost have is very present on this album. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. So how did you rate this latest album from Ghost? Welcome your comments in the comments. Okay, I better finish this review before I descend into drivel. Otherwise, for me, take care, everybody. Hope you have great evenings. Bye for now.